Hello there. How are you today, children? I hope you're staying safe. I hope you are fine and well. My name is Mr. Fred, and I'm here to teach you English. We're going to have some fun right now. So today our topic is capital letters. Using capital letters correctly. Now, I know that every single one of you out there have heard about capital letters before, because even from elementary 1 or kindergarten, you must have learned that there are two types of letters in English. We have lowercase letters and uppercase letters. So we have small letters and we have capital letters. So how and when do you use capital letters? I have learned that a lot of students ignore or don't know how to use capital letters. This is a major problem. So today we're going to cover as much as we can about capital letters so that from now forward you will use your capital letters correctly without any problems. So let's start with the first thing about capital letters. So first things first. This one is non-negotiable. Every sentence must begin with a capital letter. This rule is completely non-negotiable. You cannot decide on your own to start with a small letter. It has to be with a capital letter at all times. So, a simple sentence like the lion is the king of the jungle, or I am Mr. Fred, or Lagos is the largest city in Nigeria. All these sentences must begin with a capital letter. It doesn't matter whether it's a main word or not a main word. The first sentence, the lion is the king of the jungle, the must begin with a T. Lagos is the largest city in Nigeria, must begin with a capital L. I am Mr. Fred must begin with a capital letter I. Now let me just say something about the first person pronoun I. Most times I see students when they start a sentence with the first person pronoun I, they capitalize it. But in the middle of their sentence, they reduce it to a lowercase letter. That is absolutely wrong. Every time you use the letter I as a first person pronoun, you must capitalize it. In case you don't know, the first person pronoun is a pronoun that is used by the person speaking. So as I am speaking now, you're going to hear me use a lot of I, because I'm the one speaking. So the first person pronoun is I, and you must capitalize it every time. In the middle of a sentence, at the beginning of a sentence, anytime. Except it's just a common letter I, and it's not the first person pronoun. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we know every sentence must begin with a capital letter, non-negotiable. How else can we use capital letters? We can also use capital letters when we use proper nouns. This is like a repetition of what we did before, right? Proper nouns. We said a proper noun is the specific name of a person, place, animal, or thing. Specific. And I use myself as an example. I said man. I am a man. Right? But man is just a common name for any other male out there. But if you say I am Mr. Fred becomes a specific name for just me and only me. So you must capitalize Mr. with an M and Fred with an F, capital M, capital F, to show that it's a specific name. In the same way, country is just a name for any other place. But if you say Nigeria, it must begin with a capital N. Africa is a continent. Only one continent bears the name Africa. It must begin with a capital A. Same as Asia, North America, and the likes. So when you use proper nouns, ensure to use capital letters. Titles of books, titles of organizations, they all begin with capital letters. Let's consider an example of a title. The African Child. That's the title of a book. You must write the main words in that title with capital letters. For instance, the must begin with a T. It's the first word anyways. African must begin with a capital A. And child must begin with a capital C. So the, capital T, African, capital A, child, capital C. And every other title must be capitalized like that. The main word capitalized. So another way we can use capital letters is when we use them in the form of acronyms. An acronym is when you take the initial letter in a long list of words and use them to form a whole new word. For instance, we have NTA, which stands for Nigerian Television Authority, right? Nigerian Television Authority. We also have OAU, that was the former Organization for African Unity. We have AU, African Union. We have AIT, African Independent Television. All these are shortened forms, acronyms for the longer words. Each letter in this acronym must begin with a capital letter. And lastly, we have contractions. You will remember when I talked about the use of the apostrophe, I mentioned contractions. So a contraction is basically a shortened form. So when we shorten longer words in the form of contractions, we also use capital letters. This time it's not just the first letter. For instance, sci-fi is a very common contraction, which stands for science fiction. As you can see on my screen, sci-fi is made up of S-C-I, all in capital letter, a hyphen, and Fi, F-I, which stands for science fiction. So, this is a very easy concept using capital letters. I hope that you have learned how to use your capital letters correctly. I hope you're going to apply them as you continue. So why don't you go ahead, write some proper nouns, some abbreviations, some titles, and ensure to put the capital letters correctly. I hope that we will meet again real soon. Until then, have a lovely day. Bye.